Hey, folks, this is Rebel Roger and Rich Bergeron.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very ornery tornado, Tony Panical.
And Psychic Tom Paget with his crystal ball, hot and ready to go for a big weekend.
Yes, we have Freedom 250 this weekend. So Sunday of all days. I don't know if we've ever had a UFC fight on a Sunday. Maybe technically because of time differences with all the UFC traveling all over the world. But we also have an event out in Arizona. They're calling King of the West. And we're going to have a couple guys from that fight card on the show tonight. And I'm just going to play you their promo video so you know a little bit more about them. It's a couple minutes long here.
Phoenix, Arizona, get ready. This is Friday Night Boxing at the Celebrity Theater. In one corner, with a record of 21 wins, 2 losses, 13 knockouts, he's bringing the heat, the power. Dante, the Inferno Stone. In the opposite corner, a warrior, 16 wins, 3 losses, 1 draw, 14 knockouts. Strong, relentless, dangerous, Kingsley, the Black Lion, Bang. 2 heavyweights, 1 ring, and 3 major titles on the line. WBC Fakar Box heavyweight title, WBA Continental Americas, Arizona State heavyweight title. This is a state. The Empire now as he climbs the ladder, 1 step closer to a Saturday, June 20th, 2026 at Celebrity Theater, Phoenix, Arizona. Doors open. Fight start at 6 p.m. Main event at 9 p.m. Get your tickets now at your local box office or call 602-649-7167. Don't miss it. Feel the heat. Witness the rise. Dante, the Inferno Stone is coming.
Yeah, I don't know if AI did that video or not, but at the beginning they said it was Friday, and at the end they said it's Saturday. It looks like it's Saturday. That's what it says in writing. We're going to have Kingsley Ibe and Dante Stone, a couple of big heavyweights on the event, and possibly a third fighter that's on the card. We'll see as that maybe at 10 o'clock. But 9:30, we've got those 2. I don't know if they're going to be talking as much trash as Josh Hokit, but there's been a little bit of a development with Hokit. Alex Pereira has had a little tussle with him at the hotel already from the preparations going into UFC 250 event. They asked him, the media has asked him about what he thinks of Josh Hokit and his antics and the possibility of fighting him. They got into it a little bit at the press conference, too, that Josh got kicked out of. And Pereira had a very interesting commentary on this. He says he's not worried about Hokit. He doesn't think he's going to be in the promotion after the White House. He thinks that there's something going on behind the scenes where he's going to be removed from the roster. But I don't doubt. He's
okay,
not just...
but think about it, though. The heavyweight division's kind of lean right now. And
Right.
he's exciting. I mean, that would be a tough call.
Yeah, but I think it makes sense because he's not just talking trash like some other fighters like Colby Covington. Colby Covington had that one outside the cage interaction with Jorge Masvidal, and there was a lawsuit, and I think there was a criminal charge too. But this whole act with Hokit, I mean, he's literally confronting people and just causing scenes, and nothing criminal yet, but it's obviously gotten to the point where he's been thrown out of his press conference. He acted like a real idiot in the last one, and he was trying to make jokes that nobody was laughing at. And he just seems like he's like almost borderline mentally disturbed with some of his behavior. And some of it may be an act, but I just think the UFC is not interested in furthering his storyline. Kind of like a WWE wrestler that falls out of popularity. But if he wins, how do you throw him out? That's my
Well, yeah. See, that's it. I mean, if he racks up a lot's going to depend on what happens Sunday also. But I mean, if he puts on another fight of the year like he did,
Right.
I mean, he's an attraction. A lot of people won't like him because of his act, but
Right.
again, they're going to want to see him get beat.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was
wouldn't be
watching
surprised.
Embedded. He said, "If you don't like me, beat me in a fight."
And I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump inspires Dana White to give an extra bonus to Hokit if he wins, because Derrick Lewis is his favorite fighter. That's why he's on the card. So he made it happen. And something has come up this week. A couple developments this week. There's a lawsuit against this whole fight card. I doubt it will ever be successful. It was filed way too late, and it's just the 11th hour. Everything's in place to do this event, and it puts in perspective the whole idea of the UFC constantly saying that this is going to be at a loss, because the heart of the lawsuit is saying that this is an event, and if it's a not profitable event, then it's more legal, according to this perspective that these people have, the freedom of something. I don't know. This coalition put together this lawsuit, and they're asking it to be shut down. Now, Trump's family is going to make out like bandits too, and this whole thing has gone from just a one-off gimmick type, friendship deal between Trump and the UFC to like a totally symbiotic relationship that's financially important and now diplomatically important, because Marco Rubio came out today and announced that the UFC will be used for the United States to initiate diplomacy everywhere that the organization travels. So basically, maybe that's why Josh Hokit's getting thrown out. He's not fit to be a diplomat. But all have to be diplomats now, I guess. I don't know how that's going to work. But, it just brings together that whole perspective of the Ari Emanuel design for the UFC, where he's pushing and pushing for these state and national partnerships where, the government is providing some significant influx of capital and influence on growing the organization. And it's really working for the UFC at this stage. They're going to create a whole diplomatic corps. Was it UFC? Instead of the UFC, it's the UDC, the ultimate diplomatic crew. But I don't know how it's going to work. They just talked about it today. It does make sense in a certain area of analysis, because you look at the UFC and there's people from so many different countries who fight for the UFC. Never mind all the people who work for the UFC, probably a lot of different countries there. And they travel. South America, they go all the way to Japan. They obviously. And then the ultimate deal. Supposedly, this is kind of a rumor going around, but supposedly Trump wants to initiate a peace deal with Russia over the Ukraine situation before his term ends. So we know that Putin loves fighting. What about a UFC event in Moscow to close
Cool.
out the president's term, where he can sit down with Putin and squash the beef. We'll see, but hold your breath on that. That's an ambitious plan. The last time the UFC came anywhere close to dealing with Russia was when they wanted Fedor's contract, and they couldn't do it because his management company wanted to co-promote events in order to get Fedor to come over to the UFC. So anyway, it is what it is. Let's just do a quick rundown of the schedule and the recaps. We're going to start with Muhammad versus Bonfim. I'm not going to go find all my bets, but I made out like a bandit on this card. I think there was only like 2 or 3 favorites that lost their fights, so it was a pretty easy card to handicap. The only one that I really screwed up on, which didn't cost me a lot of money, but it could have made me a lot more if I picked it. I said it last week. I said people have figured out Belal Muhammad. I didn't have much faith in him, but then I went and picked him.
Yeah, that was a dismantling, a clinical destruction. Wow.
Yeah, and he was stupid, absolutely stupid, to stand there and trade punches like a kickboxing match with a guy who should have been wrestling. And he sucks at boxing. Like, you could see how red his damn nose was because he kept getting jabbed in the nose.
Yeah.
And he wasn't really using kicks or knees or elbows. Like, he was just absolutely sloppy garbage in there. And I just don't think he was prepared for this fight at all. So, we'll see. I don't know where he goes from here, but obviously he's not going to get back in the title picture anytime soon. And Gabriel Bonfim definitely looks like he's going places. And I actually had a thought. I don't know if you guys are fans of the series Fire Country.
Never heard of it.
Fire Country has a character who's a firefighter, and he's like the captain of the squad, Jake. And Gabriel Bonfim should get on that show and play one of his relatives because he looks just like him. But anyway, yeah. So he won unanimous decision. Was really not that much competition there. Brendan Allen in the co-main event ended up doing really well against Edmund Shabazian. I think he really only had one semi-difficult round. It was basically all on the feet, a lot of jabs, a lot of just artful placement of punches, and he put on a little bit of a clinic himself, beating Shabazian. And then one of the only upsets, Faraz Ziam lost to Tom Nolan. Both of those guys were coming in with phenomenal records. But Ziam was, for some reason, the favorite, and he looked like he was a fish out of water there for a little while. And then Bryce Mitchell pretty much handled Santiago Luna. Ended up getting an arm triangle choke over him in the third round. 4 minutes and 52 seconds in, so basically with 8 seconds left in the fight. He won that one. And then Ewo did what Ewo does and TKO Junior Tafa with a leg kick and punches 1 minute and 25 seconds into the first round. And he just looks unstoppable. I don't know what it's going to take to give him some competition, but yeah, it was crazy. And there are a lot of finishes on this card. 3 in a row from Bryce Mitchell down to Alessandro Costa over Matt Schnell, who retired after the fight. Matt had already retired once, but this time it's for good, I guess. And he didn't last very long. He got dropped to the ground, a little bit of ground and pound later. It was a TKO. 2 minutes and 32 seconds into the first round. Schnell was very upset about it. He protested, but obviously, you don't hit rewind on situations like that. You don't let them start again after a knockout's been declared. I mean, maybe it's happened once or twice over the history of the organization, but it has to be a serious mistake that would lead to them letting that fight go back on. And then Marcus McGee, who supposedly is Bryce Mitchell's half brother. I don't know if we have verified that, but that's what Bryce Mitchell said. They have the same father. Marcus McGee over John Yanis by unanimous decision. I thought McGee was going to get a knockout, so that was one of my mistakes, but it didn't cost me too much because I had him on the money line a bunch of times. And then Edgar Chairez over Bruno Silva. This was a very close fight. I stayed away from it for the most part. Chairez ended up winning by rear naked choke, 4 minutes and 13 seconds into the fight. Kelsey Chandler, another favorite, winning her fight against Priscilla Cachoeira by armbar submission, 3 minutes and 42 seconds into their fight. Cachoeira started out pretty strong. She was landing punches, but Chandler just adjusted, got the takedown, and then did her jiu-jitsu thing. And Joe Anderson Brito ended up beating up Jordan Levitt pretty good. 4 minutes and 19 seconds. He got the ninja choke on him. And that was that. Jesla Chavez beating Eunice Dubin by split decision. I didn't understand that. I thought it should have been unanimous. I don't think Dubin really did enough in any scorecards. Never mind make it a split decision. And then in the first fight, Ketlin Souza dominated the rematch between her and Ariane Carnelossi. Carnelossi, talk about looking like a fish out of water. She looked like she was a brand new athlete in the sport. Did not last very long. 1 minute and 34 seconds. Got punched and head kicked to oblivion there. So that's that. We're going to run through the UFC Freedom 250 here. White House card. A lot of logistics going into this. And, makes sense a little bit to me now why there is so few fights on this card. Because you had to have a lot of backups ready to come in. Nobody has decided to back out at this point, so you probably won't have any backups. But there was an interesting comment by Diego Lopez coming into this fight to lead off this card. He said, when you get an opportunity like this, you have to take it. So does that mean he didn't really want it? I don't know. But he somehow is the favorite. I understand a lot of people say that his quality of opposition is better. But Steve Garcia just recently had a knockout streak stopped. And Diego Lopez has looked pretty inferior in his last couple of fights with Alexander Volkanovski. He did beat Jean Silva back in September of last year, which was a very impressive performance. But a guy like Volkanovski being so short and stocky is a completely different animal than Steve Garcia. And Garcia is on a crazy win streak dating back to 2022. He hasn't beaten a whole heck of a lot of superstars, but he's been knocking people out in the very first round. He went to decision with Kelvin Qatar, but usually people don't get out of the second round with him at all. And I just think that Diego Lopez is not going to be able to handle him. I think Garcia wins.
I would agree because Garcia does look good.
And he's just so fluid with the striking. And Diego Lopez does not like to be punched in the neck. We know that because of that one fight where he just kept touching his neck. He said that's some kind of a reflex. That wasn't due to an injury, but I don't believe it. I think Garcia is going to punch him in the neck once, and it's going to be over. Only not once, but a few times. I just don't believe in Lopez's ability to win this fight. Anyway, Garcia could get the knockout as well, but I wouldn't put all my money on that. And we got Bo Nickel versus Kyle Dawkins. And Dawkins is a huge underdog here, but he kind of came back out of nowhere. He was cut from the organization, and then he started winning. And Bo Nickel's primarily a wrestler. He got beat by Reiner de Ritter, the second to last fight. And Kyle Dawkins has just been mowing people down since he got back into the UFC. 2 in a row, first round finishes. And one of them was Michelle Pereira, who was unstoppable at the time. So the people that are trying to pick a dog on this card are all pointing to Kyle Dawkins as the best possibility. And, if Bo Nickel tries to wrestle with him, the submission is viable for Dawkins. So, I don't know.
Well, I imagine the setback that'll be for Bo if he loses.
Yeah.
I mean, considering the hype, I mean, losing once was, it happened, but if he loses again, just all the expectations that have been put on him.
How you doing? I apologize. I'm looking for the link.
Oh.
Dante's sitting right here. We're at the boxing gym right now. Just finished the interview. If you're waiting for yours.
Okay. Let me go on Google and I'll text it to you. We're on the show live right now.
Oh, it's on. Yep. Text here.
Okay. Give me a minute. All right. Sorry, Tom. Say that again.
Well, I'm saying with all the expectations on Bo, a defeat here would be just devastating, I think.
Yeah. He took some time off. He hasn't fought since November of last year, too. So cage rust could be a factor. He has been doing the real American freestyle wrestling, but I don't know if that's really enough practice with real-time punching and all that to make a difference. But anyway, I think that Kyle has a good shot at winning this. I'm not 100% sure he will, so that might be the one fight that I stay away from because it's just a very hard to predict or handicap situation. But either way, maybe the both of them have a lot of finishes, so maybe to fight not to go the distance would be a good bet there. That way you don't have to bet on either guy. But it's definitely one of those situations where it's going to be tough to predict. Mauricio Huffy and Michael Chandler, I don't think that's a question. I think Huffy wins. Whether it's by knockout or decision remains to be seen, but Chandler is tough to finish. We'll just say that. And then we got Josh Hokit. We talked a lot about him before we really got into the discussions. Hokit's 9-0, Lewis 29-13, looking for win number 30. And I'll tell you, I think Lewis has the knockout chance, but most people are picking Hokit. He is the favorite. And a lot of people are saying that Lewis will need to get the knockout in the first round. Which I don't know.
Well, Hokit's chins may be tested. So it's going to be a fascinating fight because the way he fights, he's wide open. I mean, you hit me, I'll hit you. So that's a tough game to play. Lewis has that one punch.
Right. And we're probably going to finish the rest of these later, but let's just go to Sean O'Malley and Ayman Zahabi. O'Malley looking for win number 20 here. He's 19-3. Zahabi 14-2. O'Malley's the big favorite. I don't really know enough about Zahabi. I haven't really seen a lot of his fights, but I do like O'Malley in this one. By decision, probably, but you never know. He could get the finish. And then Pereira versus Gagne, I'm a little bit split on. It is a very close card on the lines. But I do like Pereira by knockout, even though I did find out today Cyril Gagne has never been knocked out in a fight, professional career yet. So, and Pereira has been finished once each, well, not finished, but finished by submission once and knockout once, and then also has one decision loss on his record.
Yeah, the fascinating thing about that is normally, the longer the fight goes, it should favor one guy.
Right.
But in this case, how is that weight gain going to affect his cardio? And then with God, how is the movement going to affect his cardio? So this is going to be a fascinating fight.
Cyril Gane winner by eye poke. No,
well, if that happens again, wow.
Yeah, that's bad news for him. And then we got Ilya Taporia and Justin Gaethje, and both of these guys are out for blood here. I don't really think anything other than a knockout finish will happen, so that's probably the smartest bet. I think it's like a negative 400 on DraftKings that it will end by knockout, so either guy could score a knockout. I like the odds for Justin Gaethje to win this fight, because Ilya is very frustrated. He's going to be out trying too hard for that knockout. He wants to finish him in the first. And I wouldn't go that far. I would just, if you're picking Ilya by knockout is good enough odds for just that straight bet. But he wants it in the first, so we'll see.
Well, now remember, Ilya, we don't know how he's going to do in round 3, round 4, and round 5. We don't know that. I mean, he's been so good and so efficient that maybe this is one. The longer it goes, the better for Justin.
Right. Here we go. Perfect timing. Hello, Mr. Stone. Can you hear us now?
Hello.
There he is. All right. How are we doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Great. So who do we got here?
This is Dante Stone.
Dante Stone. All right. Main event guy. Is your opponent in the same room with you right now?
My opponent is not in the same room as me right now.
Oh, okay. Is he still coming on, or is this going to be you?
I don't know what's going on with him. Hey, is Kingsley supposed to be on this thing somewhere?
He's supposed to, but he's late to the party as usual.
Okay. Well, this gives you some chance to do some trash talking before he gets on. So, what do you got to say about your opponent?
Here, hold on. Hey, I'm gonna step out. It's too noisy. I can't hear him.
Please do.
Give me just a second, guys.
No problem.
All right. So if my background is constantly moving, it's because I'm probably looking for the perfect spot to hear everybody. I've officially moved outside. All right. So apologies for earlier.
My name's Rich. We also have Tony the Tornado and Psychic Tom Paget also on the call.
All right.
So tell us a little bit about this fight you got coming up, and what do you think about your opponent? How are you going to beat him?
I think that the fight coming up is definitely going to be one to remember. It'll be a great fight. In terms of my opponent, I'm just between us, I'm not a trash talker. So I acknowledge the fact that my opponent is strong, and I'm going to be looking out for that strength to make sure that he doesn't try to knock me out in the first few rounds, and that he's got a decent uppercut that I got to look out for too.
All right. And how long have you been boxing?
I've been boxing for over 20 years since I was 8 years old. I'm currently 31.
Cool. And what's your favorite punch?
My favorite punch is the punch that I throw the most, my jab, because it sets everything else up. It's been said before, and I will continue to say it, you can win a fight with just your jab.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's for sure. That's my favorite punch.
Hearing that.
What's your ultimate goal with boxing?
My ultimate goal with boxing is to make enough money to take care of my siblings for the rest of their lives.
Awesome. And what's it like, that whole scene in Arizona where you're obviously training out there too, right?
It's hot.
I'm sure.
You can come out to Arizona on a hot day and cook an egg on the sidewalk, but hey, I live here and I love it.
Yeah. I almost ended up moving out there. My dad, when I was young, got a job offer to be a chief of police out there by a lake somewhere, and he turned it down. So I didn't get to go out there, but it would have been nice to visit just to see what it was.
Well, it's all about where you visit, because I'm in Phoenix. I'm in the heart of the heat most of the time, where it's some record-breaking heat days. You go up to Flagstaff, It's actually really nice. That's where my other brother lives. He's going to NAU.
Cool. All right. So what do you think is the most important thing that you do to get ready for a fight?
The most important thing that I do to get ready is cardio. I'm making sure that I'm in shape so that way whatever strategy we come up with, I can perform it to the best of my ability, because if you can't breathe, you can't fight.
True. All right, we got any questions from Tom or Tony?
I was about to say that was a Terry Silverism right there.
Tom? Can you read his crystal ball vibes, Tom?
It sounds like Tom's trying to talk, but the phone ain't letting him.
Oh no, but yeah, that's with cardio. The old cliche: you can have the best car in the world, but if it's out of gas and oil, you ain't going nowhere. And that's got to give you a good mental boost when you're in shape. And I got to ask you, Dante, how do you prepare mentally? Do you just allow your training and conditioning to get you in the right mindset, or do you specifically address mental stuff, meditation or imaging, anything like that?
Honestly, I take a good long nap.
There you go. Hey,
when it comes to fight night, if I can take a nice, comfortable nap before the fight, I know I'm mentally prepared.
Okay. Got to get the basics down. Got to get the basics down for sure.
All right. And what would you say was your most difficult fight of your career?
The most difficult fight of my career? I mean, I fight every fight like I'm fighting a world champ, and this time I am. So, hey. But if I were to say any previous fights in terms of difficulty in my pro career, I would say that's a good question. I was so focused on this fight, I wasn't even thinking about my previous ones. Sorry, guys. I'm going to say one of the toughest fights I've had ever, both in pro and amateur, was when I went to a USA national tournament and I fought this guy who was 13, but he looked so buff that he could have passed for an adult. And it scared me for the first, I want to say, 30 seconds. And then once that first punch lands, all my fear went out the door. The fight was on.
Nice. So he probably lied on his birth certificate, huh?
Hey, I don't know what he did. All I know is he hit me hard enough that he's the only one who's ever hit me so hard that I whited out for a second and saw nothing but light. It lasted literally a second. I got the 8 count. I came back. I fought my heart out. He won by decision. It was a good fight.
Yeah, I never got knocked out in my short little boxing career in the amateurs, but I got hit with a log once, logging, and that was the only time I ever saw scars. It hit my head with a log. It was bad. Anyway, what's been your greatest accomplishment so far?
My greatest accomplishment so far? I mean, getting to where I am now is a pretty big one for me. I would say my greatest accomplishment personally has been working with my brother Andreas. He was diagnosed with autism at a very young age, and I've been working with him since we were both little. I'm trying to make sure that he's able to communicate somewhat effectively so that way he's higher functioning and can do just basic stuff.
Awesome. Yeah, it's always difficult to understand people with a different mindset like that, and good on you for standing with your brother and helping him out as much as you can. Does he have like a specific talent, the brother?
My brother Andreas is really good with technology, but he doesn't like being good with technology because when people used to ask him to fix things, so now he's just in love with any Disney movie before 2007.
Awesome. Yeah, he's not autistic, but our co-host Tony would call him the Rain Man of boxing.
I might be. I might be autistic.
Yeah, he might be autistic. He says.
Hey, my brother is one of the strongest people I know. His natural strength is insane. If I ever wanted to get hit by somebody, he would be the very last person I'd want to get hit by.
Oh, wow. Got to get him in the ring.
If my brother got into the ring, I honestly think he would probably knock someone out given the right motivation.
Dante, when you were coming up, were there any fighters that you really liked their style and tried to learn something from them, like a combination of styles, and put it together for you to use?
In terms of styles nowadays, I would say Floyd Mayweather's movement is something that I take inspiration from, trying to get around and not get hit. Larry Holmes is also a real good one. Again, that just the style of boxing that he has, sticking that jab out, sticking the straights. Those are things that I definitely take inspiration from. And Luis Ortiz, a more recent one that retired recently, because he's King Kong. He's got that dog in him, you know?
Yeah.
Now, are there any fighters that you have to see every fight that they have these days that you like to watch?
Nowadays, I'm so focused on the guy in front of me that I have to be reminded when other fighters are fighting. But if I were to say a fighter that I want to continue watching would be Richard Torres, because I can see him in my future as a potential opponent, and he is up there in not just the rank but also in name. So I'm keeping an eye out for him.
What do you think about how he's going to come back from his loss a few weeks ago?
A loss happens to everybody. I mean, except maybe Floyd Mayweather. I don't think he ever lost, but that's besides the point. At heavyweight, it's entirely possible to lose a fight. It's about how you come back from it, how you react to the loss. If you come back and you train and you get prepared, I mean, Richard Torres has a potential rematch against Frank Sanchez. It's about that. It's about that next fight. What happened, happened. If you learn from it, you make yourself better. That's what boxing is all about.
Yeah, and every fight's different.
Now, do you have anybody out there that, other than Torres, that you really want to fight in the future when you're ready? Or are you just looking for a title opportunity?
I mean, I'm always looking for a title opportunity, but I would say in terms of if I were to want to fight someone personally, it would be Usyk, because he is also a really good fighter. He's also a good southpaw fighter. I like his style of constant movement, which is what I've been trying to accomplish. So seeing that up close and personal, that would be fantastic.
Awesome. Now, as far as your opponent coming up, you said you like to watch and think about, the next fight. Have you watched a lot of tape of him? Are you studying his style and trying to figure out how to get around it?
Yes, I definitely watch previous fights to see what I can do differently from what his opponents do against him, whether it's win, loss, or draw. Because at the end of the day, Kingsley is a strong fighter, and I want to be able to make sure that I do my best.
So walk us through a typical training day for you. You like sparring every day, or do you do mostly cardio, bag work?
Typical training day, I get up, I do my road work, I run, I come home, I jump rope, I shadow box, I do footwork drills. After that, I take a break because I have to work during the day, just like normal people. Yes, I know, I'm a normal person. It's crazy. But after work, I come into the evening. That's where I continue my boxing training. I jump the rope to warm back up with my coach. Shadow box, we hit the bag, we do mitts, we do noodles, and then after that, we do some calisthenics to end the day. And then after that, as long as I have time, I try to hit the gym, get a little bit of strength training in, and then I finally go home and pass out and do it all over again at the butt crack of dawn.
Well, that's what it takes, and more power to you. Great respect that you're doing it around a day job. That's tough to do, but a lot of people have no choice. That's just the reality of coming up in this world.
Exactly.
one fighter we talk a lot about on this show is Rocky Marciano, and we actually talked to a lot of his friends growing up. A couple of them are gone now, since we interviewed him years ago. But one guy told us about his legendary running routine. This guy used to run with him from Providence, Rhode Island, Massachusetts to Providence, Rhode Island, in dress shoes, not running shoes, dress shoes. And he liked to run so much, he actually woke his wife up on that moon so he could go running. But they would hitchhike back, and they would run down there to the club from Brockton, Massachusetts. I think it was like almost 100 miles. Crazy. And that's another guy who never lost. Well, he did.
Yeah.
A couple lost. Retired undefeated as a heavyweight. Lost. Anyway,
who passed away a few years ago was a training partner of Rocky Marciano. He was 96 when he died. Him and Rocky were only 2 months apart, age-wise. And he would say, like, Rocky in the gym, he goes, we couldn't get him to leave. He's like, we just want another round on the bag, another round in the ring. He goes, anybody had that work ethic was, superhuman.
Anyone who has that work ethic knows what it takes to win. It's not about being superhuman. It's about having the dedication to want to go that extra mile, because that extra mile can be all the difference between a win and a loss.
Yep.
Give us a little bit of a rundown of the promotion and the rest of the event, whatever you know about it, and how much you're looking forward to this opportunity here coming up.
I can tell you that in almost reverse order. I'm very much looking forward to the opportunity and what it entails, win, loss, or draw. It's always great to have those involved, especially with the promotion. In terms of the event, I know it's happening next Saturday on the 20th. King of the West, Dante Stone versus Kingsley eBay. It's going to be a fight to remember. It's going to have 3 belts on the line, the WBC, the WBA, and the Arizona State Championship.
And are these the first titles you're fighting for in your pro career?
That is correct. These are the first titles I'm fighting for, so I'm going to be fighting extra hard.
And are they all vacant, or does somebody hold?
Kingsley's the one holding them right now.
Oh, okay. All right. So, without giving away too much strategy, how are you going to snatch him away?
Well, again, I'm making sure that I'm in shape to fight my hardest and be able to last all the way until the end of the fight, no matter how long it goes on to.
Awesome. When in doubt, jab out. That was a sign.
Exactly. That is a very good strategy. When in doubt, throw that jab.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually, when I did a little bit of amateur fighting in college, I lived off my jab, and one judge came up to me after a fight in nationals, just basically told me, your jab won you that fight. So it was very affirming that it works. And I used to get myself in trouble a lot going to house parties and boxing gloves and telling people, I'll box you one-handed, just using the jab. But I wouldn't recommend that. So,
you don't got to worry about me in that regard.
Yeah, stick to fighting in the formal aspect. Anyway, do you have any place you want to tell anybody where they can find you online?
You can find me online, Instagram, Dante the Inferno Stone, or just the Inferno Stone. Dante Stone on Facebook. I've been posting up for this fight for the last week or so. I also got a PayPal link for those who are looking for tickets, so let them know that they're on the way. I hate to cut this a little bit short, but I actually have to get back to it, guys.
All right.
I was just going to say.
Good luck, Dante. Good luck.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
Any final thoughts before we let you go?
All right. Thank you very much. I'll hand you back over to Alex Stone real quick, the one who helped us set all this together. So if you have any questions for him, you can follow up.
Sounds great. I just followed you.
Great chatting with you. We'll be rooting for you.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'll see you.
Okay. Oh, he hung up.
Well, he's training, I can appreciate that.
Well, he's supposed to hand us off. Talk to the reporter, Alex. So we're probably not going to get a third fighter if we didn't even get the second one. But yeah, he looks like he's taking it seriously, and what a great story that he's there for his brother, and that's awesome. I've never heard of an autistic person with freak strength like that, though. That's good. I wonder if he's ever tried to teach him boxing. That would be crazy. That'd be wild stuff. Anyway, great interview, and we'll keep everybody posted on the Fight News Unlimited Facebook page on the event details. We'll post some stuff up with the podcast too. Once we put that on Spreaker, and then we'll also pop it up on YouTube. We had the whole video too going. Makes me wonder if we should be doing that. Get our ugly mugs on the broadcast every week. Anyway, so we were finishing up with the UFC.
So I met a guy at the gym last night. Said he won tickets, or he's going this weekend down in DC. Said he won a drawing or something. When he said that, really? I thought it was like impossible to even get him. I don't know. It's bullshit for all I know.
They do have this huge event at a park across the street from the White House, where they have these giant TV screens, and there's a concert. So it could be that. They're going to be with fighters and all that stuff too. But Sean Strickland supposedly isn't really banned, even though he's insisting still, after Dana came out at a press conference and says he isn't. Dana's still insisting nobody's banned. And then Sean said the next day, yeah, I am. So I don't know what that's all about, but we don't want to put Sean Strickland on the diplomacy team. It's probably going to offend too many people.
Yeah, can you imagine him giving a speech and dropping his F-bombs? A whole bunch of stiff shirts. Oh, man.
Strickland, the diplomat, being sent into peace treaty negotiations.
Yeah. Okay, UMFs. Here's the way I see this effing thing. Okay. Now, you over there, you MF.
The Rock as President Obama on Saturday Night Live, where he just started throwing guys out the window of the Oval Office.
Yeah, because you remember when the Paramount guy, and I don't know if you guys seen this, but the Paramount guy was begging him. He said, okay, tone everything down. And then the minute they went on, he says, F. The Paramount guy just, oh, my God. What can we do about this guy?
All right. Well, we also have a PFL event on the 13th. So Saturday here from Nigeria. It's going to be PFL Africa 2. Main event, Wasi Adesina and Nacho Campos. Adesina 10-3, Campos 7-2. We got Patrick O'Sheen 8-1 versus Ayinda Octave at lightweight. That main event is featherweight, by the way. Kareem Henian at bantamweight is 6-0, fighting Simna Moulawi. Cornell Thompson also on the card, 11-3 at lightweight, facing Oreo Cruz, Aureo, and Cruz is 3-0. And Jordan Cabral Fongno is 4-1, facing Yahaya Yahuza, 8-0, middleweight. Rafael Uchegbu, 10-2 at bantamweight, facing Edson Matrabane, who's 7-1. Alessandra Ferreira in a female fight, 9-2, fighting Juliet Uca, who is 9-0. And that's a strawweight. Nutrition. Al Kurdi, 2-0 fighting Abdurrahman Arachidi, who is 5-1. Elaine Majaric, 6-1, fighting Dwight Joseph, 15-3 at bantamweight in the fifth fight. Demba Sek, 10-3 at lightweight, fighting Jean Dos Santos, who is 9-2. That's in the fourth fight. Dauda Rajabu, 4-1 at bantamweight, facing Bule Gadogo, who is 4-2. And Richard Muzan, 6-3 with one draw at light heavyweight, facing Steve Ngono Esono, who is 7-1. And we got a female fight leading up the action. Heidi Ahmed, 3-1, and Shelba Chapito, 1-0. That's strong. And then we get into boxing. They're going to make me sign in to BoxRec, of course. Had all this stuff outlined correctly before. Queued up. Now they're going to make me sign in. Figure.
They usually do, and then they want you to verify you're a human, like that matter.
Right. When they can't even verify what the result is like 2 weeks ago. All right. We're going to go 3-star fights tonight. Really limit our action just in case we get another phone call. 3-star and above. Start with the results. So last week, talk about Speak of the Devil here. There's a question mark for a fight that happened yesterday. The vacant IBO World Middleweight title. We go to Japan for our first results. 3-star and above. We had quite the card over there. Kenneth Lover with 2 L's ended up being a lover and not a fighter here. Lost his first fight, 17-1 now. Lost the split decision to Michael Angeletti, who is now 15-0. And that went all 12 rounds. Willie Baldo Garcia Perez came in at 23-6-2, and he got lost number 7. Lucky number 7 with the majority decision. Andrew Maloney took that home, and he got the IBF World Super Flyweight title. It's now 29-4. Yeah, there's a lot of 12-rounders here. Asamiki Kabuki ended up winning his 20th fight, 20-4 now, beating Rene Calixto by unanimous decision. Calixto falls to 24-2-1, and that one was for the IBF World Flyweight title. We also had Luis Neri on this card, fighting John Riel Casanero. Neri came in with the better record, but Casanero had the better performance. He ended up getting the TKO at round 4. So Neri falls to 37-3, Casanero 36-5-1 at featherweight there with the knockout. And then we had one worth mentioning over in Bournemouth, Chris William Smith. Won by retirement. He's 22-2 now, beating Ryan Rosicki, who didn't come out for the 8th. 21-1-1 going in, so he's got 2 losses now at cruiserweight. We go all the way back to Friday, where we had a big fight with the minimum weights for the vacant IBF interim world minimum weight title down in Argentina. Maria Sol Baumstar ended up winning that one by split decision. 15-7-1 is her record now. She beat Adira Bastillos, falls 11-3 at minimum weight. So that about does it for our 3-star results. We'll do 2 stars. Gotta have a Jesus fight. All right. Well, we got Freddie Quit again. Freddie Quit's fighting on Saturday. He's not quitting. Kiwitt. He's looking for win number 30, by the way. 29-3 coming in against Henry Kigongo Kasuja over in Germany somewhere. And Kasuja is 13-1-1. We got Ferdinand Pills, 27-1, fighting Flavius Bailly, who is 24-2 at middleweight. And Lara Ochman, 16-2, fighting Amanda Tan, 12-0, in the female international super featherweight title. 10-2 fight, 10 rounds, 2-minute rounds. Vacant IBF International Super Featherweight title going down in Sweden or Switzerland. Can't tell by the flag. Geneva. I think that's Switzerland. Brian Venant Fanga, 14-2-1, fighting Alessandro Trabuco, 12-0 there. And the big DAZN fight card. It's got a bunch of titles here this week. Antonio Vargas looking for win number 20. He's ranked number 1. And he is 19-1-1, fighting Jesse Rodriguez, undefeated at 23-0. This is Glendale, California. It's Arizona. Desert Diamond Arena. It's probably Arizona. Or I guess said it's hot out there. We also have the WBC Continental Americas Super Bantamweight title. Arturo Cardenas, 17-0-2, facing Jordan Martinez, 16-0-1. So somebody's always got to go there. And Cardenas is ranked higher. He's 22 and number 60 for Martinez. And we got another somebody's always got to go. Adrian Rodriguez, 10-0, fighting Alex Montoyo Terraza, 13-0. And an IBF World Lightweight title. I mean, a couple guys who doesn't seem like they have a record. Girls. Women. The name actually is Elite Nor Turhan. You never know that's woman. She's 13-0. Fighting Gabriela Tellez, who is 7-0 at lightweights. That's the female title. And we got another card on ESPN from Orlando on Saturday. And two titles in the main event here. Evelyn Nazarena Bermudez fighting Estefany Alegria Osorio, another female title fight. She is 14-1. Bermudez 22-1-1. That's for the IBF World Light Flyweight title and the WBO World Light Flyweight title. I don't believe I've heard. I wonder if this is another MVP Promotions thing. Because these are all female fights again. Doing this every week? Oh, well, no, we're only going this week. Jasmine Artiga, also undefeated, 15-0-1, fighting Natalie Gatto, who's 20-7 with 2 draws. That's a super flyweight title, super flyweight fight. Tiara Brown, 20-0, ranked number 2 at featherweight. Fighting Hannah Noel Rapp, who is 8-0-1. That's for the WBC World Featherweight title. And O'Shea Jones, 9-0, fighting Elia Bronza, 11-2 for the IBF World Super Welterweight title. And then Brittany Sims, 9-3, fighting Naomi Cardenas Gomez, who is 10-1. Yeah. So we're stacked ESPN card with all women fights. Men need not apply, I guess, in this arrangement. We go all the way to Michigan. Jonathan Gonzalez looking for win number 30. Fighting Abraham R. Perez, who's 14-0. And Joshua Pagan, 15-0, fighting Rodolfo Bustamante Salazar, 23-1-1 for the WBO NABO lightweight title. That's it till next Thursday. We actually have a card in Scout. So we're just talking about it. Mark Uganov, 26-6-2, fighting Miraj Goya, 19-4-2. And I know I told you guys we might not be doing tornado warning or the division, but do you guys want to do that before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I do.
Arizona, get ready. Friday Night Boxing live.
Somebody's got to fix that. It's actually sad. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Let's
Well,
go, Tony.
just saying, you and before we got on the airplane, before Tom heard, I've been a little edgy, a little ornery. You guys know how irritated I am on my city days. It's been worse the last few months because, people have left, and the one guy that had left me with has been going out on leave. I don't know if it's real, made up. I don't know. So on my days, I walk in and I'm pissed off. And the only thing that gets me through a lot of these days is when I leave, I take the train, I get off, it'll stop further from my house because there's a gym there. It's a gym that I've been going to for 13 years now. And I know, like, tonight I can hit the bag for a little bit, and there's an area I can come below. I have a full routine. I get there tonight and I get into the locker room knowing I didn't have a lot of time because I have dinner to go to. And they said, "Hey, did you hear the gym's closing?" I said, "What?" And then when I went back out, the guy that runs the gym was at the front desk. He was almost in tears. People have been questioning him, I guess, since the notice came out. And he looked at me and he's like, "Yeah, I know what you're here for." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I don't know what people are going to do." I said, "Well, I don't know what I'm going to do." He's like, "They're transferring me to a gym like another 20-some minutes away." I said, "That's way out of my league. We're way out of my area." He's like, "Yeah, I guess I won't see you no more." I'm like, "No, you won't." And then there's another gym. I'm like, "Yeah, but that's still, if I get off the train, it draws me in the opposite direction." So a lot of those days, I want to go towards my home, get a workout in, and then finish my way home. I don't want to go in the opposite direction and waste time. So I've been irritable as shit. And I said, whoever bought the property, or whoever made this decision, because this happened to the one gym that was really close to me. I didn't like it because I didn't like the setup. And it was a good spot. It was a nice gym. I just didn't like it. But what they did was they turned it into a real high-end gym, like a $200 a month gym instead of like the $20 a month that I pay now. So I was like, "Oh, are they going to be doing that again?" He said, "Yeah, that's what they do. That they'll turn into a high-end gym, and then they won't let the normal people in. They'll want it for their premium customers. Fuck them." I said, "Find out who made this decision, and you can tell him he can have the gym if he can last 2 rounds with me. 2 rounds. It's only got to last 2 rounds." And the reason I said 2 was because that way I could prolong it a little bit. I said, "Do you know how long it would last?" He goes, "How long?" I said, "As fucking long as I wanted it to. I could end it in 10 seconds if I wanted it to. I don't care if the guy was a big meathead, musclehead, bodybuilder. They're the easiest guys to fight because they're big and they're ponderous and they're slow. Or if it's some corporate schmuck, with his, little bow tie on, just trying to, make a deal. I don't care. They get destroyed. That's just kind of the mood I'm in. That's why I haven't been very talkative tonight. I had the feeling on mute a minute. My dad's coming in because it's going to rain. I'm like, "Dude, I know it's going to rain. I know. I got the app on my phone. Relax. It's not going to fucking flood. Relax." So, yeah, the tornado is tornadoing tonight. So, like right now, I pay $18 a month. And when I use my 120 visits for the year, I get reimbursed $150. So basically, I pay $70 a year.
Well, I can't beat that.
Yeah, but you know what's going to happen? What's going to happen? The other gym that's in my proximity is the one I'll go to in the mornings, and I go there in the morning because there's no classes in there, and I can get in the back room. But then the other thing that just irritates the living shit out of me, is this old Asian lady that comes in there, and she walks circles around the aerobics room, and she has to shut the lights out. And if she gets in there before me, then I'm like, now the lights are shut out, and she's walking in the fucking dark for 40 minutes, and then she goes and walks on the treadmill. What are you doing, lady? You're irritating me. I don't want to box in the dark, so I turn the lights the fuck on, so I can see myself getting thrown out of there too.
Well, how
Without
much
the,
space, Tony, do you have in your basement to get more stuff there and just have a complete home gym?
Well, here's what I got in my basement, Tom. And right now we have a lot of stuff down there because we're getting part of the house painted, and then in a month we're getting new rugs put in. So I got a lot of stuff that I'm taking out of rooms to put down there. So in my basement's broken up into a couple parts. So I have like a rec room area that has a TV. And it's one of those bigger. It's like a floor model, but not a tube TV. It was one of those, like, it was a flat screen, but like one of those big cumbersome flat screens. Back from like 2005. That if I want to get rid of, I sure don't know how the hell to get it up the steps. And I have a couch there and a bar that I built. I'll have to send you some pictures. Then I have an area with a pool table on it and an air hockey table. And then I have my boxing area, and that has my heavy bag, my speed bag, an area to shadow box and do like dumbbells. That has a couple weight machines. The problem is, now granted, I'm not, Manute Bowl or Shaquille O'Neal or anybody, but I don't like to jump rope down there just because it's just a tad not high enough. I can jump rope down there, but it's just a tad not high enough.
Yeah, I know. I have that same situation, and it just screws with my head. It just makes it not fun.
Right. And plus I have those little floor mats, which just causes the rope just to catch up just a little bit. But here's the other thing, and I said it to the manager tonight. I know me, and I know like how I operate. Now, I worked from home for 4 years, during the COVID time. And during those 4 years, we had a while that you couldn't go to a gym because they were closed because of COVID. And those nights I would go down there and I would use my 1993 ski machine, and I'd use my heavy bag, and I'd use my area to shadow box, and I'd get on, one of the other two machines in the treadmill. I got a new treadmill that I still haven't put up after my other one broke. So I have all that. But it's hard because it's a little bit colder down there. You're in a basement. It's damp. Even in the summer, it's damp. So you're always in a sweatshirt. You're always in a hoodie. The other issue is it's a little bit, it's darker down there. Yeah, I have the walls painted and I have a bunch of memorabilia hanging, but you're still in a basement. It's not brightly lit. And the biggest problem of it all is, I think you guys know me by now. I'm a person that feeds off other people. And I get a lot of energy if, and I'm a showman. So it's like a lot of times, like tonight, I was hitting the bag. I was a little down tonight. But other nights, I'm hitting the bag and I'm going and I'm sitting there and I'm doing moves around there and I'm having a blast. So I'm getting up on the machine and I'm running and I'm singing and I'm doing the elliptical and I'm doing the baby got back whip crack. I'm being me. I am being the tornado, and I'm having a blast. It's hard to do that when you're by yourself. I was joking with a friend of mine because he goes to the same gym too. He wasn't there tonight. I was going to see him at the dinner. And I texted him. I'm like, because he lived right around the corner. He's like, "What the fuck, dude?" I'm like, "I know." And we were joking because he's my age, a few months older, and he's been doing a Muay Thai class. He's like, "Yo, can you really show me like how to really throw good punches?" So I'm teaching him and I'm working with him and I'm trying. And then one day I joked, because there's a real cute girl that goes in the room sometimes when we're working out. I'm like, "Johnny, we ought to spar in here one day." He's like, "The fuck we will." He goes, "I know you." He's like, "We'll be sitting there working out, going light. And a cute girl will walk in and you'll go to show off and you'll start lighting me up." And I'm like, "Well, you're not lying." And you're pretty accurate. He's like, "Yeah, you'll start trying to show off all the girls. You start kicking my ass." I'm like, "You're pretty much right." But that's the thing, is I can't even do it. I was like, who am I going to see tonight? Am I going to see, this person? Am I going to see my buddy Bruce tonight, who works out and does some boxing? Am I going to see so-and-so that knows this person? Am I going to see that cute girl on the treadmill? Am I going to see this? And I'm like, now it's like, I'm really, really upset.
Yeah, we got the Facebook reminder a couple of days ago of that's the clip you sent me of that guy who obviously had no idea what boxing was, trying to hit the bag
Oh my God, I know.
like a year
Oh my
ago.
God. There was the one guy that was like holding on to his head.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that was one. I was like, what the fuck is this? Then my favorite, and this was pre-pandemic. So I go to the gym one night, and I know I've told you this, guys. I go to the gym one night. They introduced me to this guy, young guy, about 30 years old. He's like, yeah, I'm getting into boxing, okay. And I'm going to turn pro. Okay. I was watching that cruiserweight title fight over the weekend. The cruiserweight title fight. Those guys weren't that good. I think I could take them. Now, I knew both those fighters, not personally, but the guys that we were talking about was Marco Huck, and I think it was Enzo Macronelli. This was, like I said, a fight about 7 years ago. And I remember Marco Huck because he fought Steve Cunningham. And I'm like, these guys are, they weren't, like the superstars like the Mayweathers and the Canelos and the Andre Wards or the Bud Crawfords, but they were still good world-class fighters. And I'm like, okay. So I said, now I know this. I know where this is going to go, but I'm going to mess with this guy. So I said, so you returned pro already? No, not yet. Wow. Haven't had any pro fights. I said, well, how many amateur fights do you have? None. Mm-hmm. I knew that. And then it's like, well, who's training you? A friend of mine. How many pro fights did he have? None. Yeah, didn't think so. Any amateur? No. Once again, I knew that answer was coming. And I'm thinking, yeah. And he's like, yeah, but I trust him. Buddy, you know what? I really like Stevie Wonder's music, but I don't trust him to teach me how to drive. So a few weeks later, I see him. I go in the aerobics room knowing there was going to be a class in about an hour. I'm like, I got 1 hour to get my shit done. So I tape up, get my stuff going, and I start rocking and rolling. I see him taping up, and he would do a shadow boxing, and then he'd sit down for like a minute. And he would shadow box, and he'd sit down for like a minute. Then he was starting to work on the bag, and then he would like work for a minute. Then he would take like a 2-minute break. And then when the class was going to start, I was done. And then they were class like, yeah, we're going to start class. And he started bitching and moaning because he was not done his workout. And I'm thinking, well, buddy, if you didn't take 70% of that time pissing around, you would have long been done. But it doesn't beat the time I saw him in there for 45 minutes in front of a bag and not land a punch. I said, if I was scoring that, I would have scored it for the bag. And moving and doing little head movements, but never throw a punch. I'm like, that's kind of the purpose of the bag. Reminds me of the time I bought a jump rope and had instructions. Like, this is the exercise in the name of the piece of equipment, jump rope. Now, granted, there are stupid people that would just hold the rope and just jump over it. So maybe you do have to, take into account people's stupidity. But, maybe I have a complex here.
Uh-oh. Tom, we got a psychic vision? Or I think he fell asleep on us. Should we do the tornado warning siren to see if we can wake him up?
Yeah.
I'm going to find it. Find the audio.
I guess my story wasn't that good.
No, it was. Yeah, I don't really have a home gym at all. I have an outside gym I need to start using. It's just my invention, the speed. It's kind of like a timing bag, heavy bag combination. Taped to the for a body, and it's all attached with bungee cords.
I remember you showing that.
It's for a while. I've made a couple different variants.
I mean, it's tough when you build a routine, and like I said, I have I an email tonight, right when we were getting on the air, that they're giving us a few more work from home weeks, which is great, especially after this gym closes, because I have a bunch of days off that I have banked. I have a bunch of work from home days that I have banked, so I can really just start setting it up, or I don't go into work because I really have no motivation.
All right, we're going to try the tornado warning. Here it is, the tornado siren. Tom,
Yes.
no, you're up.
No, it's been listening. I can't. You said you're going to have the tornado siren. I'm listening for it.
Oh, I thought you fell asleep on us.
No. You said here comes the tornado siren. I'm just listening.
Well,
We have a-
Tom, what do you think I should do? Except for whip somebody's ass.
Oh man, it's just really try to do what you can in the basement for now, and then just because I can imagine you've been doing that routine for so long, and you can do what you can in the basement, but that's probably not going to be a permanent solution.
Right.
And so now you got to start the gym merry-go-round. And see, I went through that, and I'm at the stage now where I have everything I need. It's taken a lot of time, and I have enough space for it. But man, that's going to be rough because every gym's different.
Right. And like, I know the schedule, I know the setup, I know, like, okay, this day I get here, they don't have a class, so I can do this. This day they have this, but this is open. Okay, this day they do this and this. This might not be open, but I can jump into this room over here. And I know 20 years ago, I was going to a little gym about a mile from me, right up the street. Nice little spot, independently owned. And the guy just couldn't compete with, the bigger gyms. So he'd have one room in there and he would try to do classes. So when you were having classes, I couldn't be in there to do my bag work or my pad work. So like those days, I'm like, well, I'll go in here, but I'm going on the treadmill. I'm like, I'm not really awake. That's a waste of my time. I'm going on the treadmill. I'm going on the elliptical. I'm going on the stair climber. I'm not getting really what I want. And then when he couldn't afford the lease on the one room anymore, he closed it. And I said, well, then I have to leave. And I left and I went to another place, and they had a little boxing studio. This boxing studio was about the size of a closet, but it was a little boxing area. They had a heavy bag, and I would actually bring my own bag. They had a speed bag and a small enough area to shadow box. But people would want to come in there, and they'd want to bring the medicine balls and, the big balls you sit on, and their kettlebells and shit. And then they want to leave them in there. And I'm like, fuck, dude. I get one, 10 by 10 space. Let me have it. And then that place I left there. And then I was like, I'm just going to work out at home. But then there were nights I would drive home from work, and by the time I got home, it was already 5:30. And I'm like, I'm tired. At least now it's like I know I'm stopping there on the way home. So it's a motivation because I know it's a routine. Yeah, I know. It's like I drive home. I'm not gonna. Tonight I'm tired. No, tonight, the Phillies are starting at 6:30 tonight. No, I'm kind of hungry because you're adding an extra half hour, 45 minutes to my timeline. It's not going to work. I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's. See, I just got fed up with, especially in L.A., that these gyms would just close. Sometimes, there'd be no warning, no refunding of our yearly fees or stuff like that, and it's just a nightmare. So that's why I made up my mind. Someday I'm just going to have everything at home. Now, if you had a remote job, if that would, I'm sure that would help your situation if you could work remotely.
Remember, I was remote for 4 years. So what I did during those 4 years was I was actually going to the closer spot so sometimes in the afternoon I would drive down to the one I'm going to now, just for like a change of pace. But most mornings I would get up and I would go to the closer one because I didn't need to worry about there being a racquetball room because there was always there wasn't a class. So I knew at 6 in the morning I could get in there, jump my rope, hit my heavy bag, get on the elliptical, do whatever. But now I'm battling with this fucking woman that gets there like right before I do. I mean, I have to leave my house like 4:30 a.m. to get there before her just so I can make sure the lights are turned on because she's going to walk circles around the room in the dark. I tell you that's not weird. I'm sorry.
Oh no, yeah, all gyms have weirdos like that, and it just seems to go with the territory.
Yeah.
So it's really there's no good answers.
Right.
I mean, I just would, and like what I do, I have like Rich, I have some stuff outdoors as well, and I'm in a situation where I can have another room upstairs with some other equipment in it too, so I have enough space for my needs.
Right.
All right. Do we have some crystal ball exercises tonight? Either psychic vision or...
Well, yeah, I think that I just got the $1 Million Gate, that book from Doc Kearns, and there's going to be a lot of that. But I was just flooded, going through it so quick that I never really got anything organized. So, but man, some of the Al Capone stories in there, that Kearns was really, really a character. He was a force of nature. So we'll have some of that. And I got a few other things, but for tonight, I'll be doubling up next week.
I do have a couple news items. I'm going to give away my secret parlay for the weekend's UFC 250 card. I do also want to share with everybody that the weather is not looking good. They would have been better off if they had it on the 13th, it looks like, because it's going to be 89.
Oh, wow.
Sunday, we're getting rain, and at 5 p.m., I don't know actually when the fights are supposed to start, but it's 70% likely.
Oh, God! In the early UFC MMA days, the King of the Cage had a lot of outdoor stuff, and I remember some of those would get wet, and it says, "Oh man," That's why Dana just hates that, because Ilya wanted the big one in that stadium over in Spain, but Dana just kind of nixed that. So
keeping him up to date on the weather situation, and he says that it will go on as planned if there's rain. The only thing they're worried about is lightning, and it just says rain showers here on the forecast I'm seeing. But thunderstorms would be a different story if there was lightning. And I'm pretty sure they could figure out a way to put like a giant tarp just over the cage if they needed to, but they might have to supply their VIP attendees with some umbrellas.
Well, yeah. I mean, but football fans put up with it.
Right? I've seen fights outside, too. There was one in New Hampshire at the music venue that I went to. I think I was still living in Massachusetts when that was going on. But I went up there anyway with one of the sponsors of our website way back in the day, like probably 10 years ago now. And I went to that one, and the funniest thing that happened there, it was actually under a pavilion. The cage was set up like where the stage area normally is, or right at the foot of where the stage is. And then they had lighting and everything like that. And the mosquitoes got bad at one point, and one of them big-ass crane flies was over the cage at one of the fights, and it landed on the guy's leg, and he slapped the big blob of blood on his leg from hitting it. So, guess gnats are a big problem down in D.C. So fighters have actually talked about preparing, fighting with bugs. And then there's another one in Brockton, the fairgrounds in Brockton, and that's where I got my picture taken with Paz signings. And I think that was after me, so he remembered that. And it was cool. And that was a great flight setup. There were no problems there. It was nice and sunny. I don't even think I remember seeing bugs. And the fights went really well. I was sitting like right near the cage door too, so I got a nice picture of some dude that got tuned up real bad with his eye half hanging out and his nose busted. But anyway, that's the weather report for Sunday. I got a Floyd Mayweather story and I got a Ryan Garcia story here. Zuffa is stepping on some toes, I guess, trying to find an opponent for Conor Benn, so they can make their big contract offer payoff there. They're trying to get Ryan Garcia. And Golden Boy Promotions is not happy. Oscar De La Hoya started to do an early clapback on the lawsuit that the UFC is facing. He's got a big beef with Dana White. So he went off about that, but now he's sending a cease and desist letter to Zuffa, and it says, "It has come to our attention that you are planning to announce a professional boxing match between Garcia and Conor Benn to be held on September 12th, 2026, to be promoted by Zuffa and to be broadcast on Paramount Plus." And he adds, "This is a direct violation of Golden Boy's and DAZN's rights. Golden Boy has not approved of or agreed to the terms of any such bout." So, of course, Oscar is totally against the Muhammad Ali Act reforms as well, and does not want to see Zuffa get a hold of one of his best fighters. But he has also said, "I've said time and time again that I'm willing to work with anyone, including Dana White and Zuffa Boxing, to make the biggest fights possible." He's kind of talking out of both sides of his mouth here, I guess. "My track record speaks for itself. If Ryan wants to fight Conor Benn, then as his promoter, I'll do everything I can to help make that fight happen. But the reality is that Golden Boy holds co-promotional rights to Ryan's bouts. And to this point, we have not been included in any discussions regarding this event. The contractual rights must be respected, just as the zone's investments in Ryan's career must be recognized and protected." So basically, he's saying, just talk to me about it. We'll do it. You got to talk to me. And Dana White's probably not one of those guys that likes talking to somebody who makes fun of him constantly. Makes him the subject of almost every Clapback Thursday video that he does. So that's going to be difficult. Difficult relationship to build. Anyway, Floyd Mayweather, he's got an exhibition coming up. I believe it's an exhibition. It doesn't really say in this article that we got in our inbox here. But, we talked about last week. He's having all kinds of money issues. But he's going to be on DAZN on June 27th. And this is actually a very interesting card. It's going to combine 18 fights across boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, and freestyle wrestling. I don't think there's ever been anything like this yet. It's called the Battle of Legends, and it's going to be in Athens, Greece. And it's going to be Mayweather is going to icon Iron Mike Zambidis in Athens, but it doesn't say whether it's exhibition or not. I would say that it must be, because I don't think Floyd does anything that's not an exhibition these days, unless he absolutely has to, which he might have to do with Mamie. We still don't know what's going on with that either. But anyway, the Greek legend of boxing and kickboxing, Iron Mike Zambidis. He's an 18-time world champion, competed against the greatest athletes from around the world in breathtaking fights. He has an impressive professional record of 180 fights, 158 wins, and 87 knockouts. Done a lot of K1 fights in Japan, and just has exceptional boxing skills. So the boxing bouts also will include Greek youth champion Alexandros Beltikos and gold medalist Dionysius Strubis, rising star Michaelis the Spartan Simonides facing the experienced Cyrillus Melachudis, as well as three-time Greek champion Odysseus Sakaridis taking on the undefeated WBF international champ Gilion Roshku. And then a women's boxing matchup between Greek champion and three-time European champion Anna Maria Trifili and Serbian professional boxer Sara Marjanovic. In the heavyweight division, undefeated Greek prospect Konstantinos Platias will face Cameroonian fighter Michael Asonda. And then there's some kickboxing bouts, MMA fights. Nobody that I recognize here. And Muay Thai. A couple Greek guys fighting each other. So, yeah, it's going to be a pretty stacked card. And some world champions in wrestling as well, facing each other in a freestyle match. And then the other big star on this card is Ihor Potieria, the first Ukrainian athlete in UFC history. He's going to be going into professional boxing to face American champion Antonio Zepeda. And Zepeda is with Floyd Mayweather's TMT team. Also, Canadian boxer Joseph Brown, also on Floyd Mayweather's team, will square off against Greek champion Leonidas Sopranidis. So, yeah, and then Portugal's Octavio Pudavicer and Colombia's Romer Alexis Angulo will compete for the WBC International Silver Championship in the co-main event. So, yeah, a lot of fights, a lot of Greek names there. And I would think, without it specifically saying this is going to be an exhibition, this might be a real fight. I don't know. I'll have to look that up later. Anyway, that brings us to one of our final thoughts here. We're going to talk about my parlay for Freedom 250. And I'm gonna risk a little. I'm risking a little on this one because I'm not just going with straight favorites. The cat over here has some ideas, I think. If you can hear that. Cat is interrupting. All right, go. So here's what I got. So Steve Garcia by knockout to start it off. Mauricio Hookley by knockout. Josh Hokit just on the money line. I think he's actually going to fight a little differently this time. I think he's going to go for the takedown. Because he's going to want to avoid dealing with a fresh Derrick Lewis. He usually gets his knockouts early. Sean O'Malley, money line. Cyril Gagné, money line. I do like Alex Pereira by knockout, and I have a parlay with him by knockout as well. But like I said, I just noticed today that Gagné has never been knocked out in a fight. So, in a pill fight. So I'm going to just say maybe decision. Maybe he gets the knockout. Maybe he gets Alex tired. But I like his odds. With all that extra weight, too. I don't know if Pereira's ever been hit by somebody that's that heavy.
Boy, you know, if Alex pulls that off, imagine a triple champ. He's got to be the GOAT if he pulls this off.
Right. And then the final leg of my parlay, I'm going Justin Gaethje and Ilya Topuria. Exact method of victory is knockout. And that's actually, a great main event for this card because no matter what happens, both of those guys are going to slug it out. And if you want to do common opponent math, you could look at Max Holloway and Ilya Topuria ended up with Ilya knocking out Max. Max knocked out Justin at the last second in UFC 300. But there is the big factor here is the what I would call psychological warfare game of Justin Gaethje. And he even got his dad into it. His dad said that Justin does really well against short fighters, and of course Ilya took offense to that. So there's been a little bit of war of words between those two. Even the father is in on it, and Ilya, his big comeback was like he was holding a beer when he said that. He's not fighting, so who cares? But anyway, yeah, so it's going to be knockout. I don't know whether Ilya knocks him out in the first round, but I like Alex. I mean, I like Justin Gaethje's chances too of possibly pulling out a knockout, just because Ilya will make some stupid mistake and too quick. But Justin has been looking much better recently, and I did think about it today, and I realized that he's probably one of the last world fighting guys to maintain success in the UFC. I can't think of one other guy from that promotion.
Yeah, good point.
So he's experience, whereas Ilya, he's beat a lot of big names, but he hasn't really been tested yet. Nobody's really tested him. We're gonna find out how good he is, and of course, everybody's gonna be rooting for the American. So we'll see. We'll see if he can pull it off. But I don't know. The safe bet is obviously Ilya by knockout. I think that's a -2 something. We're gonna win some money. Before enough hard to get something.
And then more MMA math. We've got Charles Oliveira.
Right?
Put that in the triangle. Oliveira beats Justin, and Ilya beats Oliveira.
Right. Yeah, there's not too many people picking Gaethje, and the prediction video that I watch every week for these fights has just about nobody picking Derrick Lewis either. But then again, when people are doing these long analysis videos and not just going to aggregate the UFC YouTube predictors, then they aggregate. They don't really go through the depth of the predictor guys, but they do. A lot of them say that Derrick Lewis has a great chance of getting knockout first round, but a lot of them are given the final pick of Derrick Lewis. And to me, the story that I told you guys always stands out when I think of Hokit's chances, especially after the Curtis Blades fight. I think of the fact that he used to pick fights with on purpose. That's to me, that's he's the real deal, and he's got quite good pedigree for wrestling. So if he can take Derrick Lewis off his feet and gas him out. A lot of people think that Derrick Lewis is kind of lost his enthusiasm. But he does have the most knockouts in UFC history of heavyweights. So always give him a chance there. At Derrick Lewis' first round knockout. Spread it across the chances. But anyway, great show, and Stone. And Stone for setting that up, and we'll be posting that video link for the promotional stuff. And don't get it confused. It's Saturday, not Friday. They call it Friday. Don't show up on Friday. Saturday. If you're in Arizona. All right, that's it for us. Until next week.
All right, guys. Let's enjoy the fights.
Yeah.
best I can do at this stage of my life. Yes, I get what it is. Life is the best I can do. She's not going to worry about it. I'm not She's not going to worry about it. I'm not going to worry about it either.
Interest just in that. For a limited time, get 0% financing for 5 years on all 2026 Silverado 1500 models. Take on new adventures, make new memories, and leave the interest behind.
See your Chevy Network dealers today. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have professionals standing by right now on our 20.
It's double digits in a big way. RAF 10, Saturday, exclusively on Fox Nation. Free Fox Nation for just $17.76 a year. Sign up today.
Like fishing trips and family traditions, the late nights around the campfire. Every great adventure began with Dad. This Father's Day, celebrate the dads who taught us to love the outdoors. Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Right now, save 10% on special Father's Day gift cards. The perfect gift for your next adventure together.
We've had a greatest day. All right, we're going to release this one, Bass. There we go.
Every great day starts with your gut. Try new Dulcolax gummies for daily gut support. These stimulant-free magnesium gummies help your gut run smoothly. New Dulcolax gummies for daily gut support.
Want to do more for your brain? Unlike ordinary cognitive supplements, Nariva Plus supports 6 indicators of brain health. Memory, focus, accuracy, learning, concentration, and reasoning. Nariva, support your brain health.
My dad had never been in better shape. He had a stroke and passed away. He had a life insurance policy. Ethos.com. In 10 minutes, you can be covered with life insurance.
Check your price today at ethos.com.
Honey, Mortgage Bunny 6 says we should keep renting.
Mortgage Bunny 6.
Rita says more realtor agents recommend realtor.com. They track every market so you know when to make your move.
He also says that Bigfoot. Got it.
Really? With realtor.com.
Parents, America's big birthday is coming up and your kids want an invite to the party. Let them join the fun with the Kids Guide to America's 250th birthday, a free guide that helps kids celebrate the epic story of our nation's birth. Send your kids back in time to see our brave founding fathers signing the Declaration and get them ready for this year's massive celebration. Get the Kids Guide to America's 250th birthday for free at freeusaguide.com. That's freeusaguide.com.
The world is changing by the minute for the stories that matter. It's time to put it all in focus. Author focus. Weekdays on Fox News.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows. Right now, buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus, get 20% off siding and decorative glass entry doors. Universal Windows Direct.
There's no way a mouthwash can prevent bad breath for 12 hours.
You're right, though. Mouthwash can't, but this is dentist-developed Smart Mouth Activated Mouthwash.
Activated?
Yeah, if your mouthwash isn't activated, it's not Smart Mouth. See this, plus this activates for 12 hours of bad breath prevention, guaranteed. Try it. You won't have bad breath in the morning. Good night, Phil.
Get dentist developed Smart Mouth today. It's a smarter mouthwash available at these fine retailers. Helping families with mesothelioma is what we do. Our firm has been offering a free book on mesothelioma for over 10 years. Since that time, thousands with mesothelioma have trusted us to represent them against those responsible. We have local offices throughout the U.S. Mesothelioma really is all we do, and there is no risk to you. Let us put a plan in place for you and your family. Call now.
Call us at 800-240-6600 or go to mesobook.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Right now, buy 4 windows, get 4 free. Plus, get 20% off siding and decorative glass entry doors. Universal Windows Direct.
It's time for breaking wind news.
Five daily farts is average. A large Australian study found that most healthy adults break wind 2 to 7 times a day with an average of 5. Are you disappointed by this number?
Who's signing up for this study? How much are they compensating people for?
Yeah.
To do this?
Are you exaggerating in one direction or the other? You brag that you fart more or less?
I think you'd have to prove it. I don't think this is self-reporting.
Now, self-reporting.
Here's the thing. I'm not sure that this is a good excuse either way. If you're on a date, for example, and it just like comes out, you're like, well, that was my fourth, so it's normal. Like, that's not going to fly, so to speak.
Yeah, and by the way, it's not the number, it's the intensity. Madison, they have an app called Chart Your Fart. As a business reporter, should we be investing in fart technology?
You know, Greg, actually, I do think we should. So this app, they self-report. And I feel like we haven't had a good new social media app in a while. Chart Your Fart. I think we do really well with certain groups of friends.
I think you're right. And get this. Why can't we, hear me out, why can't we turn our nation's flatulence into a form of energy? It's methane. I mean, this seems like a lot of wasted gas that could be used.
So you want to wear a bag around your ass.
Want to.
And then bring it to a collection point.
What if you had a flatulent-powered scooter? I mean, think about it. Everything is energy. You're producing.
What are you, a rocket ship?
Yeah, I don't. It's definitely farting more than 5 times a day. Yeah, look, Greg, I just don't know if I have anything to say. And it's not because I don't want to talk about farting. It's just because we've talked about farting so much. On the show, I feel like every month it's a fart segment, and I don't know.
I'm tired. This is why the fart acceptance movement has not moved forward. It's the narrow-minded people like that.
That's not true. That's not true. There already is. Farts are totally accepted for men. Okay? Men can fart as much as they want, but if a woman does, they cut her head off.
Yes. I think it's a bit of an exaggeration.
Nope. No, it's a fact.
I think you should do 2 to 7 fart segments a month.
Thank you.
That's normal.
Or an average of 5.
Yeah.
Tyrus, what are your thoughts?
I miss the big boob guy.
Yeah, what did somebody at home do some research for us because I'm lazy? What happened to the Canadian big boob shop teacher?
Yeah, I don't know, Greg. He's not on my Rolodex.
What's his? Kayla Lemieux.
Yes. But I think, and again, this number is skewed. And again, this is a fake summer story.
Yes.
Because no woman is going to admit that she farts 5 to 7 times a day.
Yeah.
So because the numbers would be completely off. Or if they did include women, because every woman would say, I don't.
Right.
And then if every dude said 10 to 15 because they think it makes them more manly. So that's where the average came in at, the 5 to 7. So you have to think, what the hell are those men eating?
Yes. Either way, this study stinks. We'll be right back.
My moderate to severe Crohn's symptoms kept me out of the picture. Now I have Skyrizi.
And now I'm back in the picture. Skyrizi is the only IL-23 inhibitor proven to help achieve remission, meaning keeping symptoms in just 4 weeks for some people. Many were in remission at 12 weeks, at 1 year, even at 4 years. Plus, Skyrizi is proven to help physically repair damage of the intestinal lining. Don't use allergic. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and TB. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's.
Now's the time to take control of your Crohn's.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi.
the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's disease.
Fourth Factor Hair Growth Accelerator promotes thicker, fuller, healthier hair in just 3 weeks. Hair Growth Accelerator contains a clinically studied key ingredient that quickly accelerates hair growth and reduces fine lines and wrinkles. Search Amazon now for Fourth Factor Hair Growth Accelerator. Stomach trouble?
A bottle of our finest Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Great vintage, huh?
And it pairs well with everything. Pepto-Bismol.
Military, veterans, first responders, different uniforms, different front lines, same sacrifice. At Camping, we're standing behind the people who stand up for us. Year-round support for the USF. Exclusive discounts on new RVs and accessories for service members and local neighbors. And every single month, we're giving one year a brand new RV on us. Our flags are